Hello guys, good morning. Today we are going to see about conditional statements in Java. So the first one we are going to see is if statement. So what if statement does? The mentioned condition met, then the block of code mentioned in the if class will be executed. So what is else if? If the if condition fails, then it comes to the else if part and it check for the condition. If it meets, then that block of code will be executed. And the final one is else part. If condition doesn't met, else if condition doesn't met, then defaultly the value mentioned in the else statement or the block of code in the else statement will be executed. So this is how if condition works. So what is nested if? If the condition mentioned in the if condition met, then it comes inside the block of code. So inside, if we have if condition and it will go inside the loop if that if condition is met. So this is called as nested if. Means if condition inside the if condition. And the final one is how to write if condition in shorthand form. So the syntax is variable equal to the condition which you are validating and question mark is a ternary operator. Then what do you want to do if it passes, means if statement, and semicolon and else statement. So this is the syntax for shorthand form of if statement. Let's see an example how this if and else if works. So for that we are going to take an example of a leap year. Based on the number of days entered, you have to determine whether that's a leap year or not a leap year. If both the condition doesn't met, you have to tell the user, please enter a valid number of days. So this is the example we are going to see. So let's start with our coding for if, else if and else statement. Okay. Okay, this is our program for to determine a leap year. So which we have seen in the description, right? So first the user input is number of days. So let's take our days is 365. So if you already aware, if the days are 365, so what is that? It's not a leap year. If the days are 366, it's a leap year. Okay. So the first if statement, what it does, the number of days if it's equal to 366, then print number of days entered is this day, so it's a leap year. Okay. And the second statement, in case doesn't met, it comes to else if. And number of days if 365, then it's not a leap year. If you enter something else, so what it will does, number of days is neither a 365 or 364. So now I have given an input of 366. So what is our expectation? It comes inside the first condition and it will meet. So we can expect the first sysout statement. So number of days entered is 366. So it's a leap year. Okay. Now let's enter 365. So what is our expectation? It should come to else if part. So it will come to here because the first condition will be failed. It will come to the else if part and it will print the second statement which we have mentioned. So number of days entered is 365, so it's not a leap year. And the final one, let's try for else statement, 364. So it comes to the default block, which is else block. Let's run this. So number of days entered is 365. So number of days entered should be 365 or 366. Please enter the valid number of days. So this is how if statement works. So I am going to show you another method using which you can determine same logic, leap year logic. Okay. So it's method 2. So what is this method? Usually how we define a leap year? If it is divided by 4, that means it's considered as a leap year in generic terms. So this method we will get the year from the user and we'll divide by 4. If the remainder is 0, then it's a leap year, or else it's not a leap year. As simple as that. For example, in the case I passed 2010. So 2010 is not a leap year because modulo division 4 it given a remainder. Okay, let's try for 2000. So 2000 is a leap year. This is how if and else condition works. Now let's see nested if. So what we're going to try here, I'll get a number from the user. If it's modulo division 2, means the remainder is not equal to 0, then it's an odd number. So that is first if statement. So now I want to find whether it is divisible by 3. So inside that I opened another if statement. If k modulo division 3 equal to 0, then you say k is divisible by 3. Else the number is neither odd neither divisible by 3, it's a even number. Okay. So now I have given 18. So 18 is an even number. Means it neither entered this loop or this if else loop. Let's try for 15. Fifteen is an odd number and also 15 is divisible by 3. There are two print statements. It means our nested if condition has met. Okay. This is how nested if works. And the final one which we are going to see is shorthand expression. Just now we have seen, right? The syntax is variable equal to the condition question mark, what you are expecting if it is met and what you are expecting doesn't met. So this program, if it mets, we'll say it's an even number, and if it doesn't met, we'll print it as odd number. So as you already know, I am getting an input. So it's a 25, it's a odd number. What I am checking first, string result, it's a variable equal to the condition. What is the condition? If the number modulo division equal to 0, then it's a even number. So I'm printing number is a even number. Else number is a odd number. This simple syntax. Variable equal to condition, ternary operator, that is question mark, true what you want, and if it false what you want. It's similar to if and else. Simple if and else. If you want, you can directly use the shorthand expression. So let's run this program. So you can see 25 is an odd number. Let's try for if condition, whether how it works. So 22 is an even number. So this is how if, else if, else, and nested if, and we have seen shorthand if. So this is how shorthand if condition means. Hope you people understood the if statement. Now let's see about Java switch. Now we have seen, right? If, else if, else if, else if, else. Means like if you have a lot of else if condition, the code look really awkward. So instead can go for Java switch. It's similar to if, else if, and else statement. Okay, so this is the expression for syntax for switch, and what is the condition you're expecting, and inside it case 1, if it meets, execute the block of code and come out of it. Break immediately comes out of the if loop, or else go to else if case 2, execute the block of code if it meets. So finally, if doesn't meet any of this particular criteria, we have a default code. It's not mandatory, but there is a default code which you want to print to the user. So this is the syntax for Java switch. Okay, so switch expression evaluated only once in this case. So every case, the value which you mentioned in the expression will be compared with the case statement. If that anything matches, then that particular block of code is executed. And break and default keywords are optional. It's up to you to define it or not. But if you mention break, once the condition meets, immediately it will come out. That's good actually. If you want to repetitively run the switch loop, then break you have to think of. That depends on the logic or the scenario which you are trying to do. Okay. Let's move to the example code along with our exercise. Okay. So what is our expectation? So this is my scenario. Means I get a color from the user, and based on it, I'll print some characters. Okay. So if you see our case, I'm getting a color string. Okay. Now in the switch statement, I'm getting the color to uppercase. Why I'm using it is I'll explain you after this code when I explain. Okay. So case 1, if it's a blue color, print peace. If it's a green color, print love. Yellow color, joy. Like that, I have defined some colors. If my color is not in any of the list which I entered, then I'll print looks like you love all colors and quantities. Okay. So switch the expression means this color will be here, and it will compare here with every case statements. Whatever the condition met, it will print this. So I have mentioned yellow color, right? Run the program. So yellow is defined as joy. So again I am telling switch the expression, which is nothing but here the color and the case. Whatever you are passing this value should meet, then the particular piece of code will execute. Okay, now I will tell you why I have given this to uppercase. If I remove this, okay, let's run our program. What happened? It came to the default block because the color which we have mentioned here is all in capital letter, and what we passed is having both capital and lowercase. We can't blame the users because it's depend on the users. Sometimes they type it in lowercase, sometimes they type it in uppercase. So in code we have to handle it so that our code won't fail if the user misinterprets or mistypes something. So this is all about switch case statement. Loops in Java. Looping in programming language means execute a block of code multiple times up to the specified condition is met. Means the program will be executed n number of times up to the specified condition in the loop has been met. So in Java, we have 3 types of loops. So the first one is for loop, second is while, and the third one is do while. Okay, let's see about for loop. If you see the diagram, so once you start the program, the for loop, the first step is initialization condition. First you will initialize the or startup condition you will mention. In case take int I equal to 5, it's your startup condition. So it will initialize I to 5. The second step is check for a condition. Means like the second statement is a testing condition. Means I will run the loop when the I will be equal to 15. Currently the I is 5. So in the checking condition is I less than or equal to 15. It's the condition which we have mentioned example. So it will check for that condition. So first I will be 5. So it will be less than 15. So it goes to true. So it will execute the piece of code, execute the block of code, means because the condition is met. Okay. Then it will increment the I by 5. That is after the execution, it increments or decrements. That is your third statement, which we will mention in the for loop as increment I plus plus or I minus minus. So in this case, for example, I plus plus. So now I will become 6. Again, it will check for the condition, and this loop will run up to I equal to 15. Okay, because just I told the condition which we are going to mention is I less than or equal to 15. So once it's above 15, it comes to false, right? So the execution will start. This is how for loop works. Means initialization condition, check for the condition, up to the condition met, execute the block of code and increment every time. So once the condition is met, exit the loop. That's it. So what is the syntax for loop? For open brace initialization condition. As I told, int I equal to 5 in our case, which I have explained. Second is testing condition. I less than or equal to 15. Means the loop will run up to 15 times. Not 15 times. It starts with 5, right? So 6, 7, 8, 9 to 15. Okay. The third statement is increment I plus plus. Then curly brace, the piece of code which you are going to execute. Either it can be if statement, switch statement, or just a sys out statement, and close the loop. This is how for loop works. Next one is while loop. While loop, how it works? So if you see the diagram, it's an entry level loop. Means initially it will check for the condition. If it passes, execute the block of code. Then comes back again to check the condition. If it passes, execute the block of code. When this condition will fail, just come out of the loop. The same condition which we have done, right? Same, I will tell you how to execute C. Initialization of I equal to 5 will be outside the while loop. So now we are checking I less than or equal to 15 in check condition. While I less than or equal to 15. So it doesn't matter. Execute the block of code. Here I need to explicitly mention the increment I plus plus. So what will happen? This while loop will keep on running up to I becomes 16. So once it becomes 16, it will exit the loop. Means start, check condition, true, execute the block of code, false, exit the loop. So the syntax for while loop is while open brace, check for the boolean condition. If it passes, execute the block of code inside the curly braces. So this is how while loop works. Okay. And the third one is do while. The statement itself says do first, then check for the condition. So once the start of the program, it will execute the block of code irrespective of the condition. Then it will check for the condition. If the condition meets, then again it will come and execute the block of code. If the condition doesn't meet, it will exit the loop. But the first time, irrespective of the condition, the statement mentioned in the do will be executed. So syntax for do while loop is do, open braces, mention the piece of code, close brace, then put the while condition. While is nothing but your test condition, the boolean condition or whatever the conditions you are going to mention. So what will happen in case my while condition is I equal to 5. Okay, if the I equal to 5, exit the loop. So what I do, I initialize I equal to 5 before the do while loop. Now what will happen? First time it will come inside and it will print this out 5. Then it will check I is already 5, so it will exit the loop. So do while is a exit level looping. While is a entry level looping. Means like entry level itself it checks for the condition. But do while is a exit level looping. Means like while exiting it checks for the condition. So this is how for, while and do while works. For, while and do while works. Okay. Let's see example which shows you a clear picture of how this loops works. So the first example which you are going to see is for loop. So in this for loop, in this program what we are going to achieve is this program is used to find prime number. Means the number entered by the user is a prime number or not. So before implementing the logic, we should understand what is prime number. Prime number is a number that will be divisible only by the same number and 1. It should not be divisible by any other number. And 1 is neither a prime number nor a composite number. This is the simple program. Let's see how it works. So the first one, integer number test equal to 97. So for this number, we are going to check whether it's a prime number or not. So I am setting a flag to true initially. I will explain you why I have set the flag to true. So first check for the number is 1. If the number is 1, I am setting the flag to false. Means it's not a prime number. And let's start with the for loop which we have seen. So what is our for loop syntax? For initialization condition. If I equal to 2, means like initially the I value will be set to 2. Second statement, I less than number test. Number test is nothing but the number which we are going to check. And I plus plus. Once the piece of code is executed, it will increment the I value by 1. Okay. Then there is a if loop. What we have to do, we have to check for 2 to 96. We need to divide the original number with this. If we get a remainder, that means it has another factor than 1 and the given number. Okay. So number test modulo division I. So the first time it will be 97 divided by 2. It will give a remainder. It means it's not equal to 0. So it won't come inside this if loop. So next time 2 will become 3. Up to 96 it will check. It won't be divided by any number from 1 to 96. So ultimately the flag value will be true, which we have initially set. So what will happen? If flag value equal to false, it's not a prime number. If flag value is true, we print as a prime number. So see the code clearly. Initially is assigned to I equal to 2. I am running up to this value equal to number test, not equal to. I mentioned only less than, means it won't consider 97. It will run only up to 96. I plus plus. So 2 to 96 this loop will run. And every time it modulo division with, modulo division is nothing but gives you the remainder. So if it's exact factor, the remainder will be 0. From 2 to 96, 97 is not divided by any of these number. If it divided by any of this number, then flag value will be set to false and it will say this number is not a prime number. So 97 is a prime number. Let's check how it works. (97) is a prime number. Let's check for not prime number like 99. 99 is not a prime number because it is divisible by 3. So this is how simple for loop works. Let's see how for loop works for with the decrement of value. I will comment this program. So here what we are doing, initialize the number to 14. If the number is greater than or equal to 10, decrement the number by 1. Means first it will be 14, 13, 12, 11. Once it equal to 10, it will exit the loop. So after that it will print the value. Run this program. You can see 14, 13, 12, 11, and once it equal to 10, it won't go further because the condition mentioned is I greater than or equal to 10. So this is how you can use for loop for decrementing the value. Let's see one more for loop which we'll see deep in the upcoming chapters. But since we are going through the for loop, I'll explain this for loop as well. So this is called as enhanced for loop. Mostly it works with arrays, which we'll see how arrays work in the upcoming chapter. Here if you see, this is how we initialize the array. This is a number array. So int of square brackets, declare the variable name equal to, this will have 3, 4, 5, 2, 0, 1. Example in arrays how it works is everything point to an index. It starts with index 0. So numbers of 0 will have 3, 1 will have 4, 2 will have 5. So like that, the increment starts from 0. Okay. In this program, what we are planning to do is we will print sum of all these values. Okay. So initially I assigned sum equal to 0. Now enhanced for loop, how it works. First we have to initialize a dummy variable NUM. You can give any number of any names. So for temporarily the first value will be assigned to this. Okay. So first what it will do is for each number, first it will take 3, add it with some 0. Second time num will point to 4, add it with the already added number. So like this it will run up to the array ends. So enhanced for loop syntax is for int or string, which value are you iterating. For example, ours is number array, so I mentioned int num. It's a string array, you have to mention string any dummy variable name, colon, and you have to mention the original variable name and close the bracket. It will add all the values and finally I'm printing the value. So this is how enhanced for loop works. It will be very useful when you are working with an arrays. So that's why I am giving, even though I didn't explain the enhanced for loop while explaining the loops, I am explaining it here. Okay. So if you see, the total value of all these things are 15. So hope people understood for loop with an example. You have seen a very good example with prime number. You can try with a composite number. Means like whatever divided by any of the values, that will be considered as composite. Okay, you can try that program. Let's see about while loop. So what we have seen, while the boolean condition, execute the piece of code, and once the condition met, exit the loop. Okay. Here what we are going to do is average of values from 1 to 5. This is the example which I have taken. So what we have to do, we have to take the value from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After 5, exit the loop. Up to that you run a loop and add all the values. Plus take the count of numbers. Means like it's not specific to 1 to 5. You can do it for 1 to 10, 5 to 10. It depends. Okay. So this is the syntax. The first one is the total increment, means starting value. is 1, and the end value which I am going to do is 5. Up to 5 is going to run the loop. Sum, because to find an average, it's a total sum divided by the count. So I initialize sum is equal to 0, count equal to 0, and final average value will be stored in a double. So while total increment less than or equal to number test, it will give true as far as the total increment is greater than number test. After that, this loop will be running. So first step, sum is 0 plus the total increment value will be 1. It's very important you have to increment this value. In for loop, it will be there in the loop syntax itself, while you have to explicitly mention. And count plus equal to 1, this is same as count equal to count plus 1. So every time it will increment the count by 1. So it will run up to 1 to 5. So finally we will have the sum, the count, and the double is nothing but sum divided by count. And I am printing the value. Average value of numbers from 1 to 5 is this is the one. Hope people understood the syntax. While the boolean condition, execute the piece of code. When the condition is false, exit the loop. As simple as that. Let's run this program. The sum of all the numbers from 1 to 5 is 15, and the total count is 5. And the average 15 divided by 5 is 3. So this is how while loop works. Let's see about Java do while, which we have already told. What it will do, it will execute the statement irrespective of what is the exit condition is, and once it's equal to the exit condition, doesn't matter, it will exit the loop. See, here I have given a simple example. I equal to 5. Okay, do what I am doing, print I, then I am checking I not equal to 5. I not equal to 5, then run the loop we are telling, but initially only I assign the value to 5. So what will happen? Okay, let me comment this program. Let's run this program. So what is the expectation? Even though the condition is I not equal to 5, we printed once value of I is 5. Let's see another example for do while. So here what we are going to do is, we are going to find the factors of a particular number. So the number what are defined is 6 here. So in order to find the factor, you need to divide that number with all the numbers which is less than that number. Here we use modular division, so that if the remainder is 0, that means it is divisible by that number. That means that is the factor of this particular number. Okay, simple as that. So what we are doing here, so do while means like first time it will never check for any condition, it will come inside. So 6 modular division. So first time what will be the number? J is initialized to 1, so it will be 1. Okay, 1 is the number. So second what it will become? It will become 2. So now 6 modular division 2 will be 0. So 2 is a factor of 6. Then third time it will be 3. Since it is J plus plus, right? It increments on every loop. So 3 is the factor of 6. Yes, it will pass. When it comes to 4, what will happen? It's not a factor of 6 because it comes to else loop. And 5 same. So finally we can expect this result. Let's run this program. You can see 1 is a factor of 6, 2 is a factor of 6, 3 and 4 and 5 is not a factor of 6. This is how do while loop works. So we have seen for, enhanced for loop, while and do while loop. Let's see nested loops. Nested loops means like running a loop inside a loop. Okay. So this is one of the example which we are going to see to create a multiplication table using a nested for loop. Okay. So I have opened a for loop here for I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 10, I plus plus. Means I am going to create the multiplication table from 1 to 10. So first this value will be set to 1. So what will happen? It comes to second loop. Now j is initialized to 1 and it will run up to 10 count j plus plus. So first time it will be 1 and it will run this inside loop for 10 times. Okay. So finally what will happen? 1 into 1, 1 into 2, 1 into 3 like that 10 times it will run. It will be stored in k value and it will print. So one table will be completed. So next time it will give a break. This will be incremented to 2. Now it will run for 10 times and give a space like that. It will happen up to 10. Why? Because we mentioned less than equal to 10. So it means it inclusive 10. Include. So let's run this program. So you have table from 1 to 2 up to 10. Right. See? So this is how you can create a multiplication table using a nested for loop. Now let's see how to achieve it using a while loop. The logic remains the same. So first initialize the value I equal to 1 because while just check for the boolean condition. So we will be running this loop up to 10 count. So I less than or equal to 10. Next step is j equal to 1 we have to initialize. So we have to run this for 10 count. And the syntax remains same inside. It will calculate the k and it will print the k value, increment j inside nested loop we have to increment j and outside nested loop we have to increment I. So every 10 count there will be a space. Means like once the one table is completed it will give a space, two table is completed it will give a space. So there is no difference in the logic, only thing is while loop we have used to achieve the same. Why? Boolean condition, while boolean condition. It will run up to j equal to 10, not equal to 10. This loop will run for 10 times for j1. Then it will increment, it will run for 10 times. Okay. Let's run this program. So the result remains the same. So this is how nested for loop and nested while loop works. So what is the problem in using this loop? Okay, you should make sure the condition which you are mentioning should not go into an infinite loop. For example, if I give something like this, 1 equal to 1. So this is always going to be true. So it will take the value to infinite. So you should be very careful while defining the Boolean condition. Okay. So that's it about loops. So in this tutorial we have covered conditions and loops. Okay. I am giving a few exercises. Please try this exercise so that it will be easy for you to understand the loop and conditions. Thanks for watching. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. If you really like my video, please like. Thank you.